Hello, I'm Bob Harris. We're getting ready to add color to our stamped concrete panel. A couple of observations. When you get a bucket of color hardener, it's a good idea to turn it over, roll it, turn it upside down, and it loosens as it is what happens here. If not, it becomes consolidated in here and it becomes very firm. You don't ever want to have this color hardener firm when you're throwing it, okay? Now, our conditions are somewhat excessive, meaning his temperatures are well over 90 degrees today. We've got a nice probably 10-15 mile an hour wind to make it tricky. So what we're going to do is we're going to broadcast our first application of color hardener, and then we're going to spray a light film of an evaporation retardant to slow down that surface from crusting. That's a real valuable tool to have by just misting on that evaporation retardant. Now, when you throw a color hardener, there's definitely a technique to it. You don't ever want to throw it from way up here, okay? You'll notice most of it broadcasts off in the wind. So I'm going to always throw preferably below my knees. And I'm going to do a real slow motion version of this. So what I do is I take a whole handful, and I want you to focus on what my hand does. I start in the under position and real slow. So it's almost a cross, almost as if it was a kind of a rainbow or a half arc. And I'm flicking it off the tips of my fingers once again. And so what you want to absolutely avoid is mounding the color hardener up like this. You'll notice what happens. Around the ring, over here, around the perimeter of the color hardener, it never, it darkens, but over here in the tip where I've mounted it up, it never absorbs moisture. So the darkening that you see is it's absorbing moisture. You need moisture from your concrete in order for a color hardener to work. But on this top of this mountain or peak, watch what would happen if I tried to float it in. It would crack. You can see it starts to crack right there. So you never ever want to mound it like that, okay? Now this is a good indication. When I put a color hardener down, I always want to see if it's wetting out. We use the term wetting out. And what I mean by that is, if I hold my fingertips here for roughly 5 to 10 seconds, if the color hardener is wetting out properly, you should see 5 little moist paw prints right there. And what I mean by that is moisture is passing through. So you can see that moisture is in fact coming through the color hardener. If I didn't get those moist paw prints, I'd be really concerned, and I would, like we talked about, spray the evaporation retardant. Or another good tip is you can cover this, once you've put your first application down, you can cover this with 6mm Visqueen, and it allows it to sweat and it draws moisture through it, but yet you're not adding water of convenience. Now this is just an example of how you can use intricately colored concrete as a base. And here what we did is we used a flash of a medium gray color hardener. And you can see we've obtained a beautiful, beautiful kind of a marbleized look, which really lends itself to a stamped concrete application. What we're trying to do is achieve as natural of a finish as we can when stamping. And this is one way to do that, by using an integral color and a flash of a color hardener, which is what we did here. You can also use the color hardener as 100% coverage. In this case, we're not using it 100%. We want to preserve some of the natural color of the integral color.